Right, you guys, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Mike's, okay? Make sure. If you don't subscribe to Mike, you're gonna have a fat forehead and a big hairline.
Well, I'm with the guy Max inside. Subscribe to him. Make sure you do. Still best content coming out. You know how it is.
Hello and welcome back to another video, people. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're smashing the likes and subscribing if you are new. Still bringing you daily uploads whilst I'm in Greece right now. Hopefully having a good time. And yeah, I thought I would bring another couple West Ham what-ifs. And there was a lot. And I'm grateful for all the people on West Ham Twitter that did respond to my tweet about West Ham's biggest what-ifs, because there was a lot to get through. And this was one that I was really interested in talking about, because I actually need to do a little bit more research in the other ones, because some of these are actually before my time, where some of these people replied talking about West Ham's biggest what-ifs. And there's a lot of the current era that I want to talk about, but there's one that's nearly happened 10 years ago now that is very worth of talking about. And this one is what if Dimitri Payet never left West Ham United. Now, Dimitri Payet signed in the 15-16 season from Marseille, and my only proof of him was good, he was going to be good, was the fact that he was in the FIFA 15 team of the season, bro. The fact that he was in the FIFA 15 team of the season in League was my only proof of this guy being good. I didn't know what kind of player we were going to sign. I just knew this guy was in the team of the season. And I remember telling my parents, being like, this guy was in the French team of the season and we've just signed him. I think we signed him quite early on as well. But with Dimitri Payet, obviously I was at that game. A lot of people ask me when I go on different YouTube channels and stuff, who's the best player you've watched live, for West Ham? And I say Dimitri Payet. It's very easy for me to say, because West Ham haven't had many good players in my lifetime. They haven't. Simple as that. And obviously we signed him quite early in June. Funny enough, when you're seeing this video, it might be the 10th year anniversary of us signing Payet. Yeah, but I'm now planning it to upload on that. 10 years ago we signed Dimitri Payet. So 10 years ago we signed Dimitri Payet on the 26th of June, and he was on a 5-year contract, but he was only here for 1 year. And we signed the guy for 10.7. I'm looking at it now. We signed him for 10.7 million. That's probably our biggest bargain ever. Wan-Bissaka was a bargain for 15. I'm just thinking bargains, and even as much as I criticize Souček, he was a bargain for what I remember. I don't think he cost that much. Jared Bowen's been a bargain. These have been bargains for us. We've had a lot of expensive flops, but we've had a few good bargains, and you can add Dimitri Payet to that list, and you could probably say he was the best one, maybe Bowen. And what a player. What a player. Going into his first season, this guy was given the freedom of having the creativity on the pitch to link up with Manuel Lanzini, who was on loan at the time, and then we made his deal permanent the next year. And he was very crucial into us getting 7th that year and ending the last season at Upton Park on a high. We had to make every game our cup final because of the fact that we were leaving our home behind, the home that we were used to. And what Slaven Milic did was basically give Payet the freedom to roam, and we'd have 2 number 10s basically on the pitch. Aaron Cresswell hugging the touchline on the left-hand side, so Dimitri Payet could go on the inside, because Payet is a 10. He is a 10. He's a floater / 10 sort of player. You want him in the pockets from the left-hand side where he's able to cut in on his right foot, etc. And he was absolutely unreal to watch, because as much as he wasn't the fastest, he was one of them dribblers that, because he could glide past players, it didn't matter that he wasn't fast. It's like David Silva wasn't lightning quick. It didn't matter, though, because he's David Silva. Having mobility and having speed is a completely different thing in this world. And Dimitri Payet showed that. He showed that. He would take on 3 players at once. He would make something out of nothing. It's not just a Payet West Ham thing. It's a football thing where I miss those type of players, because we're watching everyone pass side to side now. It's kind of very annoying. You would see Alexis Sanchez for Arsenal, Hazard for Chelsea, David Silva for Manchester City. I could be here all day when it comes to the Premier League players. Like even the mid-table teams, when we talk about Sarabia, Ben Arfa, the moments type players, these are players that would make something out of nothing. Rooney would make something out of nothing. Like I could be here all day. But it's them type of players where they're mavericks and they'll take games by the scruff of the neck. You need someone to rise in the game, and you got someone. You got Dimitri Payet. But it's not even just that. It's someone who's a joy to watch as well as the quality that they possess. Because his combination with Lanzini was unreal. He brought great experience because he was in the mid-20s, I'm pretty sure, at the time, or creeping over to 28, 29. And he had both feet. He could actually play on the right-hand side if he really wanted to as well. Scored a huge amount of free kicks. I've always say this. I was there when Dimitri Payet scored that goal against Crystal Palace. I was behind the goal above the Crystal Palace fans. That's a fact. And that felt like the slowest goal of my life. Because the way the ball drifted into the other net, I was like, where the fuck is this ball going for a split second? And then it just goes into the top right-hand corner. And you're just thinking, what the actual fuck am I watching? Like, did we just sign like a Ballon d'Or contender? Nobody decided to pick this guy up because is that we just watched someone who was coming out of fucking La Masia, bruv, or La Masia? Like, bro, that's the kind of player I thought I was watching. I thought I was watching someone who could play in El Clasicos for either team. That's what I thought I was watching, and that's what I was watching. He even got voted as a Ballon d'Or nominee. I'm pretty sure but the Ballon d'Or mattered, and it was Messi, Ronaldo winning it, not like what the Ballon d'Or is now with the low quality of football that we're watching today. He was a Ballon d'Or contender. I'm pretty sure he was. Now, obviously, West Ham didn't win a trophy that season, and we lost the FA Cup that season to Manchester United. A game where we should have tried to score a second goal in the first game, and then in the replay, we completely crumbled due to Marcus Rashford being on fire. And they ended up winning the FA Cup. That was probably our best chance of ever winning the FA Cup in my lifetime. So it's a big shame that we didn't get to win a trophy with the guy. This is the problem, though. Because Payet not intended to leave Marseille in general. There was always that feeling that he was going to leave. But it wasn't necessarily to Marseille. Nobody saw him going back to Marseille coming. Because it even says here, Marseille's concern with financial stability came after the sales of players such as Florian Thauvin and Gianelli Imbula, who I'm pretty sure went to Stoke. And Payet did get an assist on his debut for Checo Kouyaté in that win against Arsenal. He scored his first goal literally in the defeat against Leicester, 6 days later. That game against Newcastle was probably his best game, where he did score in a 2-0 win as well. And people forget this. He was injured for quite a while. He was injured for quite a while in the middle of that season where we actually kind of drifted off. And I feel like if Payet was first of all, this is the first what if that actually isn't the main subject of the what if. But if Payet had stayed fit, we probably would have got Europa League automatically or Champions League football. We would have been in top 5 if Payet stayed fit. For 3 months without Dimitri Payet, we was nothing without him. There was a lot of good players on that team. Lanzini was good. Noble had the season of his life. Checo Kouyaté had a decent season. Obiang had some great impact. Antonio was actually really good when he got to play in that second half of the season. Diafra Saka was being played out of position, but still stepped up. Aaron Cresswell was having an unbelievable season. Andy Carroll played well when fit. There was a lot of good players that were playing there. Like even Winston Reid and Ogbonna as a centre-back partnership when fit was really good. Tomkins filled in at right back because Jenkinson was having a howler. Like we had a good team. Adrian was having a good season, and Darren Randolph was doing good when he stepped up. Like I really liked that team at the time, but we needed to build on it. And the problem is Payet getting injured hindered our spots of getting Europa League automatically or the Champions League. Knowing us, we probably would have lost the Europa League group stage and got knocked out anyway, and we would have embarrassed ourselves in the Champions League. So, realistically, is it that much of a miss? At the time it was, yes, but not now, because West Ham would have never had the mentality that we did in the season we won a Conference League or the season where we got to the semi-final against Frankfurt to go on and try and actually win a competition. It's more about like, oh, we're trying to stay in it, guys, and all this. Like, that's nonsense. That's nonsense, I have to say. But obviously, he scored some amazing goals. He scored a free kick against Bournemouth He actually had a man of the match performance in that game. He had a great chant, yeah, but I got kind of sick of fucking chanting about him because it felt like we were only chanting for Payet at that point because of how good he was. Obviously, the goal against Crystal Palace, the game against Arsenal, the game against Newcastle, just in general, a bag of games where he was really good. He bullied Blackburn in that game in the FA Cup as well. And this is where West Ham United fucked up. In the 15-16 season, obviously Payet signed, but then we gave him a new contract in February 2016. Now, the problem is, Slaven Bilic just come out and said this, is that the owner was willing to give him a new contract every 6 months. Every 6 months. Like, it's like David Sullivan was like, this is his first baddie. This was his first baddie. This was his, like, he stopped fucking transvestites and he finally fucked someone with a normal pussy. And he decided to give them a kid every single year. That's the equivalent of us giving Dimitri Payet a new contract every 6 months. Every 6 months. Because this is like your first like generational, not even generational, but first like great player that you've had in God knows how long, since like Carlos Tevez of that sort of technical ilk, then it's become long. It's become long to give someone there like a new 5.5-year contract, 6 months in, 125 grand a week. So this would have committed him to the club until the summer of 2021. You know what happened at the end of 2021? West Ham got sixth. Could you imagine if Payet stayed throughout that whole time? That would have never happened. And I'm going to get onto why in a minute, because the main what if is what if Dimitri Payet stayed at West Ham. But before we get onto there, Payet was named the Premier League Player of the Year at the Football London Awards in 2016. 13th of March, he scored a free kick described by some journalists as sublime and spectacular in the draw against Man United at Old Trafford. That's definitely his best free kick. Or is the Man United free kick better or the Crystal Palace one? You guys decide, because that's difficult, because the technique on the Palace one's unbelievable. I'm saying the Palace one because I've not seen a free kick like the Palace one. No, there's nobody in this whole wide world that's scored a free kick like that. Is just as unique as the Roberto Carlos free kick. Like there's no one that scored a free kick like that. I've not seen anyone that scored a free kick like that. Following an impressive spell of performances at Euro 2016, West Ham United awarded Payet with $1 million loyalty bonus in an attempt to pay interest away from the clubs. Payet was criticised for accepting this after his departure from the club following the winter transfer window, which I even forgot about. What kind of nonsense? Like, again, fumbling your first baddie. You bought her flowers on the first date. You haven't even said hello yet. You've already given her flowers. What the fuck is wrong with this midget, bruv? This guy, man. So annoying. So jarring. But then Payet left. Because West Ham tried giving him a new contract again in the 16-17 season in the summer. There was already clubs linked with Dimitri Payet, Man United being included as well. But he had complications of why he needed to go back to Marseille. Because Slaven Bilic said on January 2017 and the 12th that Dimitri Payet no longer wanted to play for the club. He did not then feature in the matchday squad on the 14th of January despite no reported injuries. So, a mural installed in tribute to Payet winning Player of the Year was guarded by security in order to prevent it being vandalized. They should have just let it be vandalized. So apparently we rejected the first 2 bids from Marseille as well because we didn't want to sell the player. By the 29th of January, we accepted the offer of 25 million from Marseille, making a club record sale. That being a club record sale back then, it that was big at the time, but when you look back at it, like, it's fucking stupid because obviously Rice has taken that over since, but we don't sell well, clearly. The day after Payet completed his move to Marseille, a mural at the London Stadium was removed and replaced with one to commemorate Andy Carroll's bicycle kick against Crystal Palace. Yeah, to be fair, that's probably the best goal I've seen live as well. Andy Carroll's overhead kick against Palace. I was in the corner of that goal. It's always against Palace, isn't it? Like, but so this is the what if. Yes, we're 15 minutes in, and I haven't got into the what if yet, but I didn't mean to ramble on for this long. I was just talking, giving you the backstory. But Dimitri Payet, man, if he had stayed, here's what I think would have happened. I think, let's say Payet didn't have them personal issues where he wanted to move back home and the complications with his family and stuff like that as well, which is another story for another day. Let's say that didn't happen and he just wanted to, or just wanted to stay for the time being, and that's like a bigger club went in for him, like a Manchester United or whatever, because it would have been a very Man United signing. They might have just signed him instead of Alexis Sanchez. What I reckon would have happened is that I reckon he would have stayed until the summer, and then the club goes in for him and probably bids more than 25 million in for him. I don't think it's as different to the situation that actually did happen in real life, because Payet was never going to stay at West Ham for that long whilst West Ham were being mediocre. We failed to contribute and capitalise on our previous season where we actually had some hope and promise. We lost to Astra Girigu in the Europa League qualifiers. We bought Simone Zaza, Jonathan Calleri, Sofian Faguli, Gökhan Toure, Havard Nordveit, Arthur Masuaku, Edmilson Fernandez. I'm probably forgetting someone in the summer. And then in the January transfer window, we signed Robert Snodgrass and Jose Font. So cool, like, Snodgrass is a great person, but he wasn't, what kind of replacement is that for Payet? And Jose Font, need I say anymore? That guy was horrible, man. I don't care. I don't care if he did well at Lille. I don't care if he did well at Southampton. He was shocking at West Ham. And yeah, he was just shocked. It was just shit, man. It was just shit. Like, it was just shit. So this was the kind of shit West Ham were doing when we had Payet. So I reckon Payet would have left in the summer. Maybe Liverpool would have got him. They would have maybe sold Coutinho then. Or did they? No, they sold Coutinho 6 months after, in January, didn't they? So maybe they would have sold Coutinho and got Payet. Maybe Man United would have gotten him. I think it would have been either a Premier League club, or Marseille would have just tried to get him back, because they didn't want to sell. They didn't want to necessarily sell him in the first place. They had to. He necessarily didn't want to leave. So the call back to France, in hindsight, was always going to come back, as he did not want to leave where he came from, because ever since he went back to Marseille, he only left because of contractual stuff, and he went somewhere else. And fans still wanted Payet back. I don't like the guy, to be honest with you. I liked him as a player. I don't like him as necessarily as a person and the way he left. I don't care if your family has got you whipped over your back. That's your own problem. I can't lie. I don't really have much sympathy in that sense. So I don't care. But I do genuinely think that Dimitri Payet would have just left 6 months later anyway. But he would have had a better send-off, and it probably would have been more civil. I don't think the fans would have liked him going to Manchester United, though. Let's hypothetically, if that was to happen. But yeah, make sure to like the video, people. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Social media is in the description if you want to follow me, the email for the inquiries. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.